Hello everybody, I hope you've been enjoying the sunshine, the glorious weather that we've been having recently. I certainly have been out and about in my garden lots, and today I wanted to show you some of my gardening successes. Now lots of you will know that I'm not very green fingered. I find it quite difficult to grow things, so I'm absolutely delighted that some of my kitchen scraps planting has worked. The first thing I want to show you is my onion. So this was the bottom of an onion, the sort of rooty bit of the onion that I planted, and can you just see it's starting to sprout up here. It's probably not very big at the moment, but I can see 1, 2, 3 little sprouts coming up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on watering that for a little bit, and hopefully those little sprouts will shoot up and maybe I'll get some leaves growing. So I'm really encouraged with that. The next one was my sweet potato. So I cut a sweet potato in half and I suspended it so that the bottom was just touching the water. And this one's done nothing and nothing and nothing for ages. It looked like it wasn't going to do anything at all. And then all of a sudden, it's grown lots of roots. I'm so excited. Look, can you see these really long roots that are growing down here? And you can see loads of little roots just starting to grow. So I'm really pleased with that. I need to be a bit better at looking after it. I've neglected it a little bit, so its water's gone a bit green. Remember I said we need to try and change the water every day. So now I've seen it's doing something, I'm really encouraged. I'm going to change the water every day, and when more roots have grown, maybe I'll plant that out and grow myself some lovely sweet potatoes. So that's really exciting. And then look at these two. This was my celery. I just popped the bottom of a bunch of celery into a little dish of water, and this was my lettuce, and they're both doing fantastically well. My celery has also got lots and lots of little roots, so what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to plant that into some compost and hope that it gets going and grows even more. You can see these little celery stalks are just starting to grow, so maybe if I grow those more I'll be able to eat those. And my lettuce is growing. I've let it dry out a little bit, so I need to be a bit better at watering it. It hasn't really grown any roots. I think it's starting to, but I am going to plant that into some compost today, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully if I can remember to keep watering it, maybe it'll grow a bit bigger and I'll be able to have some of these lettuce leaves in my salad. So before I do that, I want to show you my compost bottle. So a few weeks ago we set up two different types of compost. I'm going to show them both to you today. So this one was a layer of soil, and then it had some kitchen scraps layered up with it. And what I want to do is open that up today and see if it's rotted down and has made me some lovely, lovely compost that I could use to plant my things into. So I'm just going to undo the top of it, and this will be really interesting to see which things have rotted down and which things haven't. So these were all things from in my kitchen sort of food recycling bin, and some leaves and things like that as well. So I'm going to tip it in. I have actually already got a bit of potting compost in this tray ready to use my planting out. I'm just going to empty this into it, and you'll be able to see it's quite wet. If I just tip it up, the contents of it has been quite wet and damp, and you can see that all of the kitchen scraps have actually gone. It's all rotted down into some beautiful compost. So I'm really pleased with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix that in with the rest of my compost so that I can plant my celery and my lettuce today, and all of the lovely nutrients from the stuff that's rotted down has gone into that soil, and it'll help my plants to grow nice and strong, hopefully. So I've got 2 pots here. I think I'm going to use this one, slightly bigger one. I think I'm going to use this for my celery. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tip some of my compost into my pot like that, fill my pot up. Lovely. Give it a shake so it's nice and flat, and then I need to make a little hole in the middle like that, and I'm just going to take my celery, just pop it down into my compost and just cover it so that the roots are in the soil and the shoots are above, just like that. So what I'm going to do in a minute, I'm going to give that a really, really good watering. And then I'm going to do the same for my lettuce. So I've actually got a bag of compost here that I'm going to use a little bit of. So I'm just going to put some compost into my pot, like this. So again, I'm going to fill it up, not quite to the brim, but plenty of compost in there. some of the lumps out, and I'm going to make a little hole in the centre, and I'm just going to take my lettuce, pop it in, cover it so that the shoots are sticking up and the roots hopefully will grow down into that lovely compost. So there's my lettuce all planted out. Now I will need to water those. I'm going to leave them outside in this lovely sunny weather, and hopefully they'll grow even more. But to give them a bit of a head start, to give them a really good push to get growing, I'm going to use some of my other plant fertiliser that I set up. Now this one is super smelly. So this is my bucket. It really does smell. In my bucket I put lots of weeds that I'd picked up from my garden. Put them in the bucket, and remember I covered the weeds just with a bit of water, and I weighed it down with a brick, and I've just left it there, and it's all been the weeds have all been rotting down, and all of the nutrients from the weeds, all the lovely food that the plant's roots will use to grow beautifully, has all come out into the liquid to make a sort of plant fertiliser. So that you can see it, what it looks like, I'm just going to pour some of that liquid off into this jug. Really smells. Have a look at this. This is my homemade plant fertiliser. Oh, it stinks. Yuck. There we go. Really smelly. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to mix that with a little bit of water. You can actually keep this in a bottle. If you've got a spare plastic bottle with a lid, you can put it in the plastic bottle and keep it. And what you do, it's a bit like when you make a glass of squash. You don't use it neat. What you do is you water it down a little bit and use that to water the plants. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to use my lovely plant fertiliser to water my lettuce and my celery that I've just planted out, leave them in a sunny space, and hopefully they'll grow even more, and I'll be able to make myself a delicious salad in a few weeks' time. Bye.